What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today, you guys, with a brand new episode of Paradise, you guys. So, what ABC did last night for Paradise was they did a 2 hour season finale. Good thing I watched the episodes last week, so I was already prepared for this because I was honestly thinking they were going to do it this week was going to be episode 7 and next week will be episode 8, but they decided to double header. But this is season 1, episode 7. The episode is titled The Day or That Day, one of the two. I think it's The Day. So before we go ahead and get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, you guys, and also by sharing the video. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's go ahead and discuss episode number 7 of Paradise, shall we? So you guys, what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about just keeping episode 7 be episode 7, then episode 8 be episode 8. I don't think I want to put them into one whole video, but neither here nor there. So the episode opens and it's October 28th, 1962, right? Now, if I miss something, feel free to leave it in the live chat or in the comment section. But did they explain at any point in this episode who this man is that we're seeing in 1962? Now, I know what they're talking about in 1962. They're talking about the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? But at the same time, I just don't know who this man is and who his wife is. Like, she was telling him she told the man to come to bed. For a long time, I thought this might have been Cal's father. But again, I don't think we ever got clarification of who the fuck he was. But again, if they did and I missed it and it went over my head, y'all feel free to leave it down in the comment section, you guys. So then as the guy went to go to bed, we see him as he's playing with the light switches. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the only point of the episode that was in 1962. Now, I know it did come up later why 1962 was so significant, but I just didn't know who that man was. But moving on, you guys. Now, back to present day, we see Xavier. So Xavier, he doesn't believe what Sinatra told him about Terry, right? You guys remember. Sinatra told him that Terry was alive and that if he calls off what he's doing, she can take him to his wife, right? And so she told him about, remember episodes ago when we found out that Billy took out those people who went to explore the world? Well, she told him about those 4 people, right? They wanted to bring back that there were some survivors, but she made the order for Billy to take them out. So then she played a recording for him. And in the recording, you can hear Terry saying her name and that she is Xavier's wife, right? So he said that his wife was in Atlanta and it was a direct hit. And I was like, what is a direct hit? So then she said, well, Cal did something that he didn't know. She said that Cal did something that he didn't know about. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm trying to think about I was trying to figure out what I wrote in my notes and trying to make it make sense to me. So she is saying to Xavier, Cal did something that Xavier is not privy to. And I was like, what is that? Okay. I was like, come on. Now, we get a little bit deeper into what happened in the outside world, right? So we see as a tsunami is hitting, and the tsunami is just wiping everything basically off the face of the earth at this point, right? So then we see as Xavier was texting Terry, asking Terry, like, what's your ETA? So the texts weren't going through. Then he called her and the calls weren't going through, right? So everyone is asking at this point, like, what the fuck is going on? Then we see as Henry, he was talking to Cal, right? He went under to talk to Cal. So when he went under to talk to Cal, he told Cal, like, Russia is gone. I was like, again, what kind of, but we saw how the tsunami happened, right? I was like, that do be things that it's interesting shows like this and The Walking Dead, right? Because I do always wonder, like, what if something catastrophic has happened in this world and we weren't, well, I know the U.S. definitely wasn't equipped for it, right? But, you just think like, what if something else, like catastrophic happens, right? It's interesting, right? So we find out that Russia is offline. Everything is just pretty much dark, and they talked about all the places. They start talking about all the places that are offline, right? So we see as Xavier did get a text through to Terry, and Terry told him that she was grounded. And then we see as Cal came out, and he's talking about Versailles, right? And it's a go. I was like, okay, it's a go, but oh god, this is just, when I tell you guys this is interesting, because again, it just makes you wonder how things would happen in the real world. And not to get political, look at what's in the office again. And we remember what happened the last time something catastrophic happened. We were fucked. So we see as everyone is in place, right? And everyone is moving forward with Versailles, right? So then we saw a news report, and the reporter, she was on like a high rise building, right? And so she's, the reporter is talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, we're safe. We're on." I'm just paraphrasing, but we're on the 20th floor. You would think you would be safe on a 20, like a damn near skyscraper, right? Shit, she was not safe, because you could see in the background. And the interesting thing with the TVs is the signals are going in and out, right? If you guys remember, which I'm about to age myself, but if you guys were around in the 90s, you guys remember when the TV stations used to go dark at night, right? Where your channels would have those different, those multicolors, rainbows on your screen. That's what that was giving me, right? But like I said, the woman said she was on the 20-story building, but then you see the tsunami behind her, and her camera crew went dark. I said, "Well, shit." So then we see Presley. So Presley was calling Xavier. She was having a little bit of a moment, but he was able to calm her down. So then we see Marcia, and Marcia works with Cal, right? So Marcia is talking about her son, and I got to take these out. So when Marcia was talking about her son, and Xavier is talking about he would help her, I was like, he's not going to be able to help you, beloved, but nice try. But then the more I kept looking at Marcia, I was like, there's a reason y'all keep showing us Marcia. In my head, I'm like, there's a reason y'all keep showing us Marcia. Now, we see as Cal is preparing to address the nation, right? But he couldn't do it before he had a drink. I was like, you a god dang on lush. Now, Xavier told Cal that Terry is stuck in Atlanta, right? So he talked to someone about getting Terry from Atlanta to DC, right? And well, actually not from Atlanta to the DC. Well, yeah, get her back to DC, but what they're gonna do is since she can't fly out of, I'm pretty sure she's flying out of Hartsfield, Atlanta, right? So she can't fly out of there because they're grounded. But then they said to get her to, I guess, like a naval base, but she has to be there within an hour. But if you look on the map, it's about 2 hours from the airport. So I was like, she ain't gonna make it in time. Like, she was not gonna make it in time. So we see as Xavier went to go find Garcia. So Xavier went to find Garcia so that Garcia could give him a better route for Terry to get from the airport to the base, right? I was like, but how's she gonna get there? I mean, if you're in the middle of a catastrophe, I don't think nobody's gonna Uber her there. But okay, let's see how she gonna get there, right? So we see as Cal, he got briefed on what countries, what particular countries are doing at this particular moment, right? And he also noticed that there was this now I will say, he noticed this black man more than once, right? And he's part of the hospitality group, right? So then we see as Nicole arrived, and so Nicole is barking orders at Xavier. And then we see as Cal walked up to the man who was cleaning, and this is where Cal felt bad, because the man was like, I've been through 9/11, pandemics, da 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 da. this will be nothing, this will be a cakewalk. Not a cakewalk, but he feels that they'll get through this. I was like, and you can see Cal's conscience is beating him up because Cal did do the address the nation, but when he addressed the nation, it was pre-recorded and he was reading from a teleprompter. And he's based in his address of the nation. He was lying to the American people, telling the American people that everything was going to be okay, when in actuality, all is not going to be okay, right? So then, when he was talking to the man, his conscience hit him. And so he decided to go live, and everybody was like, whoa, that is not what we need to do, right? So we see as he did go live, right? And, after that, then you see people start kind of freaking out, right? So then after the live, people were still near the Oval, right? So they're trying to get Cal out, and it was a ugly sight, right? Because you then see as people are trying to flee, basically, and you see as they're rushing Cal to a helicopter, and then you see people trying to run out behind them, and then you see Secret Service with their guns drawn and just popping people. I was like, this is giving Armageddon. Damn, this is terrible. And then you see somebody got shot. No. Well, yeah, they were shooting people, right? And then there was this one guy that wanted to get on the helicopter with them. Xavier told him no, not to get on the helicopter. So then he drew his gun on Xavier. Then you see Nicole, she popped him, and Xavier's like, he wasn't gonna shoot me. And once again, this is Nicole barking orders at Xavier, right? So Xavier gets on the helicopter. The helicopter lifts off and they fly to wherever they're going, right? But you see Marsha, she's on the ground and she's just looking up at Xavier. I was like, ooh, was it Marsha? Because then at this point in the episode, my mind started thinking, at this point, it can't be somebody that, I was thinking to myself, somebody snuck in. That's literally what I was thinking at this point in the episode. I was like, somebody snuck in. It is someone who has a vendetta against these people. I put those two together. I was like, somebody has a vendetta and somebody snuck in. Am I right? We shall see when we get to episode 8. Now, we see as they made it on the planes, right? And unfortunately, there is no Terry. So Xavier asked Cal, like, when did you fucking know? And he basically told Xavier, like, I told you. And Xavier, like, you ain't tell me shit. Because remember I think it was last week's episode, when Cal was saying to Xavier to not let Terry go to Atlanta, but Xavier's like, she's going to do what she want to do. So that is in Cal's roundabout way, him trying to warn him about what's going down. And I'm like, that wasn't it. You could have literally told him, like, yo, there's something big coming, and I don't think you should let your wife out your sight, right? He didn't say that. So then the planes are in the air, right? We see as one plane went down. I was like, ooh, fuck. So then we see Cal. So he went to go talk to Xavier, and he wanted to apologize to him. Dude, at this point, it wouldn't be shit that you could say to me. So then we see Cal. He went into this meeting where he was told to launch an attack, right? Because I think it's like Russia and some other countries that are attacking each other at this point, and they feel like they're going to do it to the U.S. So they want to strike them before they strike us, right? So then Sinatra, we see as she went to talk to Cal, right? And, she's telling him, like, you might want to go ahead and hit that switch to launch launch the attack. But he's telling her about this switch that was created after the Cuban Missile Crisis. And I was like, okay, so that was the significance of the Cuban Missile Crisis in the beginning of the episode. But again, who the fuck was that man? But he's telling her about this switch that this man created after the Cuban Missile Crisis. And essentially what this button does is once you hit it, once you flip the switch, everything just goes black. So everybody's in the dark at that point. I was like, is that a smart thing to do? I mean, in hindsight, I guess Cal is thinking if these other countries are going to, attack each other, then let's just turn the power off, so to speak, right? But that would cause mass chaos. And my brain is thinking it will cause mass chaos. So Sinatra is still telling him not to do it, but he had one of his guys come and get her and take her away, right? Because he said he isn't launching the missiles, but he will pull this switch. I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea, but hey, Mr. President, if that's what you want to do what you want to do, right? So then we see as Xavier finally was able to get a hold of Terry, right? But she couldn't, because at one point he told her, she was like, Xavier, I don't have a car. He told her, find one. I was like, well, that's easier said than done. I mean, you're in an airport, so you could probably find a rental car to steal, but you're not going to be able to get out because, I mean, you have to go through their gates. So I don't know how she's going to steal a car, but hey. So she told him that she couldn't make it, and he told her where they were going, right? So then Cal hit the switch, and you saw an explosion. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, again, this is my guess, right? So then we moved back to present day, and this is the point where Sinatra played the recording of Terry saying this is the part where she played this recording of Terry. I said it earlier in the review, but this is the part where she played it, right? So he asked her, how does he find her? She said, well, you let me make one call, and she told him to check on Presley, right? So he found out that Presley wasn't where she was supposed to be. And so Sinatra told Xavier that the DNA from Cal, it didn't match anyone that is supposed to be down here, right? And so she told Xavier that she wants the weapons, she wants her people, and this place to go back to normal. Then, he will see his wife and his daughter. And he'll also find out who took out Cal. Now, the question that I had was, so you've known who took out Cal this whole entire time, and you ain't said nothing? I mean, I guess she wouldn't say anything, but, when I tell y'all, so this episode, my brain was like, okay, who is it? So this is the reason. So I was going to stop here last week when I was watching episode 7, and I was going to wait and watch episode 8 sometime this week. But my brain was like, nah, JB, you want to know who took out Cal. So I was like, okay, let's go ahead and watch episode 8. So what we're going to do here, you guys, is since this video is already almost 18 minutes long, I'm going to end this video and then I'm going to come back with episode number 8. So you guys will see, whenever you guys see this video, just know that 30 minutes later, you guys will see episode number 8. But that is it for episode 7. Let me know what you guys thought about episode 7 down in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and share the video, you guys. Until the next time, stay safe. Take care of yourselves, you guys. Wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in episode 8 of Paradise. See you guys in that video. Bye, y'all.